It's Mystery Series Week. We're here at Black Dog Books in Zionsville speaking with members of Speed City Sisters in Crime, the Indiana chapter of a worldwide association of mystery crime writers called Sisters in Crime. The Indiana chapter has over 40 members, many of them published mystery crime writers, as well as readers and fans of the genre. They hold monthly meetings with awesome speakers such as prosecutors, forensic specialists, policemen, and well-known mystery crime writers. 17 of them recently collaborated on a book titled Murder 2020. It's an anthology of 17 short crime stories set here in Indiana. We're interviewing 8 of these authors and will broadcast the interviews this week in 4 segments on Black Dog Books Facebook. Murder 2020 is available for purchase at Black Dog Books. Sisters in Crime has also generously donated a copy of Murder 2020 signed by all 17 authors that we'll be giving away at the end of October here at Black Dog Books. If you'd like to win this book, listen to the broadcast to learn how you can enter the drawing. The authors will introduce themselves, tell us the title of their story in Murder 2020, and read us their favorite line from their story. Then I will ask them some questions.
Hi, my name is Lillie Evans, and I am a member of Sisters in Crime. We are here to discuss and promote our latest anthology, the 7th that we've produced, and it's titled Murder 2020. The title itself encompasses not just the year, but the authors were to come up with stories that would reflect 2020 as hindsight, 2020 as envision, 2020 as a place and time. And so they used their imaginations to come up with 17 stories that are in the book. I am one of the editors. The book was also edited by Michael Dabney, and Sherry Held. The 3 of us collaborated on editing this book. We did overall editing, as in picking the stories, making suggestions on changes in the book. I've had some experience not only with 2020, but also in a series that I write. I don't have a story in this book, but I write a series with a co-writer by the name of Crystal Rhodes. And we produce a series entitled Grandmothers Incorporated, which is a series about 3 grandmothers who are crime solvers. At least they fancy themselves to be. Ours is kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's a cozy mystery. And along with one of their mother-in-laws, they managed to come close to solving crimes at any rate.
Okay. Lillie, how did you come up with Grandmothers Solving Crimes?
Well, really, it was accidental. I was not writing books for a long time. I started out doing storytelling. And I had an true incident in my family in which one of my nieces went missing. My mother, who could do Columbo Prout, was tracking her down. We found out what happened to her. Luckily, it was nothing bad. But I was watching the comical way that she acted. She had on a trench coat, this ridiculous hat. Her, along with the child's paternal grandmother, tracked down where she was, got information, and I thought it'd be funny if grandmothers had a detective agency. I presented the idea to a friend of mine, Crystal Rhodes, who's a romance writer, and she thought that would be fun too, and she wanted to write along, and that's how we came up with the series of Grandmothers Incorporated. So along that, we've written 4 books of different titles. We've written plays that based off the characters of those books. One of the plays was shown off Broadway in 2011, and we've done a play for the Indie Fringe Festival, and that was one of the most successful plays of that season. So that is how we came up with Grandmothers Incorporated, and we've expanded it since then. We've taken a break from the Grandmothers, but they'll be back with more adventures soon, I hope.
That's great. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to collaborate as an editor. Do you have an editing specialty yourself, or do you do overall editing all together with the other editors?
Well, in both the cases of Murder 2020 and the editing I've done on my book series, it's an overall editing. We, for the Murder 2020, the three of us, that's Michael and Sherry and I, were responsible for picking out the stories. We decided if there were tweaks that we thought the stories would need to take. We concentrated on the interest that the stories would generate to a public. If we figured if we were interested, others would be interested. We had very few suggestions because we have some excellent writers in Sisters in Crime, but there were some suggestions, and then we collaborated on the order of the stories. So it was an overall effort, all three of us kind of combined. I don't think anybody had. We each brought our own expertise in writing and editing to the effort.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. We also have with us today Paul Burroughs.
Actually, it's J. Paul, but my real name is Jon Burroughs. And I created the story Mr. 20, and it's about a detective in IMPD who is tracking a serial killer. And the killer is basically leaving half of a $20 bill by each body. And it's built around an accident and someone seeking revenge for those who were responsible.
So did you come across this in your research, or how did you get the idea of writing a story where the murderer leaves his signature behind?
Well, the initial accident actually happened with my wife, and was driving on 465. A tire went off a woman's car that had been just loosely put on. Her car went out of control. She had a concussion, but that was all. So that gave me this idea, and I thought, well, for 20, what if someone wants revenge, and if he tore a $20 bill in half and left it on each one?
Why do you think some murderers would leave their signature behind the murder scene with the victim?
I think as a temptation, trying to tease the detective. Can you get me? Can you find out?
Have you heard, when you did some research, did you ever hear of murderers who left their signature behind at the murder scene?
In fiction and in movies and television, there have been examples of that, of some type, something left behind. And since 20 was our key on this one, I decided the $20 bill.
And how has being a member of the Indiana chapter of Sisters in Crime helped you as a writer?
I think the really best thing have been the critiques. Before each meeting, usually about an hour before, each of us could submit something for the group to read. And then we basically sat down. They had that earlier, and by that time they've already put notes and things. And okay, this should be, I don't like this, I think you should try this. And it really has improved my writing. Yeah. I also helped on the play we wrote for the Fringe.
Be sure to listen to our next interview with 2 more Sisters in Crime authors tomorrow, here on Black Dog Books' Facebook page. If you'd like to win a signed copy of Murder 2020, come into Black Dog Books in Zionsville, where you will be able to enter your name into the October 31st drawing.